It's finally time. It is finally time to talk about everybody's favorite tire. Or nobody's favorite tire? That's right. 1,000 miles later, on-road, off-road, big adventures, big climbing. It is finally time to review the 2.2 Road Slick from WTB. I know you guys are all excited about this. You guys have been in my comments so much about this tire, so let's go ahead and get into it and talk about, is this the perfect Groad tire? Quick disclosure, because for some reason everybody thinks I'm paid and branded by lots of companies. I am not paid, sponsored, or branded by WTB or any other company. I am not doing this for anybody but myself, so the thoughts, opinions are my own. I paid for these tires on my own, so this review is solely my own. There's no other brand or company affiliated with this video or these tires. With that out of the way, let's get into it. It has been 1 month since I posted the video of these Groad tires, these WTB 2.2 Road Slicks. 1 month, 1,000 miles later, I have done on-road, I've done off-road, I've done long 100-mile rides, I have done 7K of climbing. I feel like I have put these tires through the paces, and it's finally time to tell you what the hell this tire is actually for, and why did I keep it on for so long, and hey, what happened to that 500-mile review? Okay, let's jump right into it. Yes, I was going to drop a review at 500 miles, but at 500 miles, the tire still looked brand new. I can't do a review on a tire that looks brand new. People are going to be like, yeah, right, you didn't put it through its paces, you liar, la, la, la. I did put it through its paces, and at 500 miles, it looked solid. I am at now 1,001.99 miles on this tire. No, you cannot make that up. You can go through my Strava and look exactly at that mileage. It is 1,001 miles, 0.99, almost 1,002 miles. Wear and tear is phenomenal on these tires. I am absolutely blown away how good they look, as they should be. They're 2.2, and that is a heck of a lot of rubber on there. This tire is gonna last up to 2,000 miles or more. I am blown away at how well this tire is holding up. While we're talking about wear and tear, I've had one puncture, literally one puncture, and all it was a goat head, a big old goat head that got deep in there. I pulled it out and it spewed sealant everywhere and would not seal, so I plugged it. But we're talking about taking it on some bumpy, sharp off-road stuff, some really nice dirt, some loose over hard, long road rides, even a bike packing trip, and that tire did not puncture. Makes sense, it's got a lot of rubber, it's a heavy tire, so yeah, as expected, it did not have any issues puncturing, no issues on the sidewalls or anything like that. One go ahead, that's all it took though. On that note, wear and tear. Super happy how this tire is done on wear and tear. Like, this is a tire that is gonna last. These little grooves on the tire, they are made for like shedding water. I did not get to ride this in any wet conditions, so I can't give you any input on how it did in those kind of conditions, but these little grooves love to eat up tiny little pebbles. So you'll find yourself rolling down the road and tick, 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 tick. Yeah, you got these little rocks that get stuck in those grooves. It is what it is. Okay, let's go back to why I purchased this tire originally. Originally, I wanted a all-road tire. I wanted something that I could ride predominantly on road, but could go off-road. I really wanted a pair of Renee Hurst Snoqualmie passes in 44s, but dang, I could not afford $180. Searching around, I could not find anything comparable, and lo and behold, good old Amazon, that jungle site, I did find these 2.2 Road Slicks with basically no reviews other than seeing it posted on people's beach cruisers and random mountain bikes, and not really for performance cyclists, I guess you would say. And at 60 bucks for 2 tires, I could not pass them up. I figured, hey, I don't have a lot of money, so I'm gonna buy these tires, and worst case scenario, they would make great content. And you know what's funny? I got a lot of views on that video putting those tires on. I've gotten a lot of questions. I even gotten some silly things like saying, hey, you're still running those? An absolute ridiculous tire. Let's just put that out there. This is the most ridiculous thing. They are 2.2s, so what's that, like a 55? They actually are slightly bigger. They are closer to that 56, almost 57. I did have a little bit of rubbing on the chainstay at the bottom, I think from the flex, because there's just really not that much room. Not terribly bad, but there was some rubbing because they are slightly bigger. This tire is phenomenal for day in, day out use. I mean, I'm impressed with how good this tire still looks, how much life is left in this tire. Some negatives I have with this tire. Rolling resistance. It is not the greatest on rolling resistance. Now, I didn't expect it to be. I kind of hoped it would be. Yeah, the rolling resistance is not great. It definitely does not roll that great. And that could be because there's so much rubber, because it's heavy, because it's not really made for going the distance like I've put it through. But yeah, the rolling resistance is not great. It's not terrible, but it's not great. Like, I have a pair of 2.2 Race Kings and they feel like they roll better than that. And I noticed this more so like going downhill. You think big old fat tire, you'd be freighting downhill. A couple of the hills I've taken it down that I know I can hit 40, 45 plus. This thing is like sticking at that 35 and like not really wanting to creep to the 40. On straights, it does okay, but it's like, yeah, it takes some extra watts to kind of get it up there in that 18, 20 mile an hour average range. Comfort-wise, it's a 2.2, so it is absolutely comfortable. I mean, you set it at 30 PSI and you're just cruising all day. Punchy hills. Punchy hills is where this thing is really noticeable. A, how heavy it is, and B, how much more work it is. On punchy hills, you really have to have extra wattage to kind of get it to climb. Like, it's not fun. On punchy hills, it is absolutely terrible. I'll be with a bunch of people and like we start hitting a punchy hill and I just get dropped immediately. And I'm doing like 350 watts, 400 watts and like crawling and getting dropped. So on punchy hills, that is a big negative. I think that's where you really feel how heavy the tire is. But in that regard, on long, steady climbs, it's actually really nice and enjoyable. Like, it does just fine. Maybe because I'm a slow climber, I don't know, but I'm talking, I went out and did 7,000 feet of climbing in one day, going up Mount Rose one side, going down, and then coming back up. And I was dreading doing it on these tires. And it actually did phenomenal. Like, I felt like I could hold a good speed. I wasn't struggling with extra wattage or anything. So, long rides. On Tuesdays, I like to do long rides, sometimes 100 miles, and I like to do them at endurance pace. And these tires actually do really good at that distance, which is surprising because I do not think this tire is made to be like a performance tire and like made to go out and do like 100-mile rides. So it really surprised me, like, okay, out on 100-mile rides with about 3,000 to 4,000 feet of elevation gain, I can hold that 17 mile per hour average, and it's really comfortable to go that distance, and they do good. Now, if you want to go more towards the race side and go like kind of spicy, like threshold, you're gonna get beat up. It's a lot of work to get those tires spinning. I mean, look, it's a super cheap tire. There's really nobody using it in a performance setting. For what you get out of it, it's not a bad deal. I think if you are expecting a performance tire and want this thing to be the kick butt all arounder, then you might want to look elsewhere. How did it do on gravel, being that I bought this tire for an on-road, off-road tire? It actually did really well on the gravel. Dirt roads, fine, no problem. I can go around corners, like no worry about losing grip, did really well. The only real gravel I had an issue with is that loose over hard. So those really kind of medium-sized rocks with a firm ground underneath, like it kind of gets a little sketchy. But like your basic, really nice fine gravel, deep gravel, no problems. I took it down some really chunky stuff, like should have had a full-blown gravel tire on, no problem. I was actually surprised how well this thing does on and off-road. So that was a huge plus for me. Like, okay, I bought this tire to be a Groad tire, and it's like pretty dang good for Groad. Took it on an overnight bike packing trip, which is probably one of the most recent videos. And you know what? It's hard to say if this is a great bike packing tire, because in one regard, it's like, yes, you got a lot of rubber, and yes, it's pretty puncture resistant, and it's comfortable because of the side. But then there's the other side where it's like, yeah, it's really heavy, and yeah, the rolling resistance is not the greatest. So is it really a great bike packing tire? I don't know. It's really hard to say. It did fine on the little overnighter I did. It did fine on all the road I did, and it did good on the super chunky dirt descent to the campground, no issues. But I was pretty beat after that 2-day trip, basically an overnighter. One day was 60 and the other day was like 60 something miles, and I was pretty tired. So would a smaller tire with better rolling resistance be better? Probably. But you know, if you're maybe not the fastest and you're okay with going a slower pace and can push those pedals, and that could be a great tire for a longer bike packing trip, just in the regard of you're not going to have to really worry about punctures, and you're not going to really have to worry about like wear and tear. Group rides. I even took this thing on some group rides, and everybody laughed at me because they thought they were getting a full-blown extra draft just off that big chunk of a tire. Yeah, I took it on a couple of group rides just to see how it would do. And back to the rolling resistance, you know, I could stay in the bunch, but I could definitely feel that I was having to put out more wattage than everybody else to kind of keep going. But that said, I got in some group rides where we were holding an 18-mile-an-hour average and occasionally doing 20, 30 miles on the road. And yeah, other than the punchy hills, it was no problem for a group ride. Did pretty dang well. So I was happy with that in that regards. I put this tire through a lot. Who's this tire for though? For idiots like myself who wanna be cheap and do something different to get some laughs. No, but seriously, I think this tire is good for a commuter. If you have the tire clearance, which not all of us do, for this kind of tire, yeah, it's good for a grocery store runner, good for going to the gym or whatever. It may not be the most ideal tire to go do 100-mile rides on. It may not be the most ideal tire to go group rides on, but if maybe you're a slower rider and you want something that's gonna last, or maybe want to get a fitness boost out of a training tire, then that's a great tire. I can say it took some time for me to get kind of used to the tire and kind of build the fitness to use the tire. Like right off the bat, you can tell it's a heavier tire, it's a slower tire, it takes more wattage, but I guarantee you when I switch these out for a smaller tire, I'm going to be freight training because I'm used to holding a higher wattage with these tires. So in that regard, I think this tire could be a great training tire. If you have an extra set of wheels and you want to go out and do endurance rides and you want to be able to hold a higher wattage on those endurance rides, there's a tire right there for you. Like, I would 100% use that tire for training. Like, and I really think that's where I got into the mindset when I got these tires on, was like, yeah, okay, I'm slow with my friends. I am slow constantly with these tires, but I am gaining fitness out of having to push higher watts with these tires. I am gaining fitness going longer distance with these tires. I am getting a boost in fitness because of these tires. So I think this tire is probably good for a commuter. I think this tire is good for somebody who wants a training tire. Maybe you're into bike packing and don't always want to throw on bags with some extra stuff to get that training on, and you can throw those tires and you know, get a benefit that way. Yeah, it's a really weird tire and it's really hard to say who it's for. I mean, it's probably, like I said in the beginning, just a beach cruiser tire and just good for that. But if you ride at a slower pace, then it could be a good, long-lasting commuter tire. It might do really well in winter conditions where you want a little bit bigger tire. My favorite thing about this tire is just how well it looks on this Laufsegler. Like, let's be honest, a 30 tire in a gravel bike that takes 57s looks goofy as hell, but a 2.2 road tire on a bike that takes 57s looks oh so good. So yeah, in that regard, I love the looks of it. I do not love the rolling resistance. I do not love the weight of the tire. I love the longevity of the tire. Yeah, so you decide. Who's it good for? Drop a comment below. Tell me, would I buy the tire again? Look, if I was in a pinch and I had next to no money and I wanted a tire that was going to last, and knowing that what I know now, I would buy it again in that regard. On top of that, I would not buy it again if I had the money to spend on a proper Groad tire, a proper I know what I want out of the tire. Yeah, no. I would love to ride a tire like this that actually has a good compound, that actually has good rolling resistance, just to A, compare it to that, but B, be like, okay, can a 55 road tire actually like be fun to ride with? I've enjoyed my 1,000 miles on this tire. It's been an experience. I got some good content out of it. I got some fitness out of it. So I am not gonna complain with that. Money well spent. Yeah, I'm not sure what else I have to say. You let some air out of them. They're comfy. Air pressure. Let's talk about air pressure real quick. I tried 20, I tried 30, I tried 40, I tried 60 PSI. I tried it all. 30, 35 was really great for long distance and comfort. 40 kind of seemed to be like the sweet spot for just a little bit better rolling resistance. However, on a fully loaded bike with bike packing gear, 40 felt slower than 30. It did fine for everything I threw it at. I'm happy with how well it handled. I got my money's worth. That's all there is to be said about this tire. Should you go out and buy this thing? No, probably not. If you have the money, buy something else. I have another video of my new tires coming in, and I will be honest, I am excited to run. And I know I'm going to get chewed out for this. I am excited to run a smaller tire. Not much smaller, but a smaller tire. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. More videos coming soon. New tire day coming soon. And if I missed anything, drop it below. Hopefully I answered some questions. I'm sorry. I'm filming like 4 videos today. Little insider note. So I'm kind of all over the place and I feel like I missed some things on this, but I got 1,000 miles out of the tires. They were cheap. They did the trick. I got some fitness. All in all, cruisy tire. That's all I'm going to say. It's a cruisy tire. You're not going to go break any PRs with this. You're not going to set any course records. You're damn sure not going to win a race on this unless you can hold 1,000 watts, because it takes more wattage to get this sucker rolling. It's a possible bike packer. It's a decent all-arounder. It's a great training tire. And it's cheap. That's all I got. See y'all next time.